guest for this episode of the interview sessions is actor, writer, and producer Travis Dunn. You may have seen him in things like Scandal Made Me Famous, Murder Made Me Famous, Murder Comes to Town. He also co-wrote and co-starred in a movie called Decapitarium, which is a take on Edgar Allan Poe's Pit and the Pendulum. With me is Travis Dunn. Travis, thank you for joining me.
Hey, how's it going today?
Oh, it's going. I don't know where, but it's still going there. Okay, so first off, let me say that your body of work is impressive. Just the sheer number of things that you've been in. And other than being a natural-born extrovert, what made you want to get into acting?
I didn't. That's the weirdest part. I didn't take an acting class till I was 36 years old. And I took it on a dare.
Really?
Yeah, took it on a dare. Wasn't even my idea.
Who dared you?
A well-known actor named Bill Ross. He's a character actor. He's been on everything from The Gambler to The A-Team, you name it. And he spotted me one day at a crowd and goes, "I don't know what you do for a living, but you should have been an actor." And I said, "Yeah, right." And for the next 4 years, he continuously called me at least twice a year to ask me if I'd taken an acting class yet. Finally, I just told him, "Hey, what do I have to do to shut you up?" He goes, "Take an acting class. You don't like it, I'll pay for it." I was like, "Okay, so it's your acting class?" And he goes, "No, I don't have an acting class. Take any teacher you like." And I threw a guy at him named Gary Chason. He was an Emmy Award winner, and he said, "Oh yeah, he's qualified to teach you. He's good."
So what'd you do before acting?
Shockingly, I was a construction superintendent.
So the white
Hard
hats.
hat, cigar,
Yeah.
clipboard.
Wow.
Don't bother to shave for a week. Yeah, that kind of job.
That's a wide swing for career change.
It was very strange. Most people around me were like, "You've always been kind of a natural entertainer, but we never really saw you playing an actor."
Well, you'd be an actor. You wouldn't be playing an actor. Although I'm sure it felt like you were playing an actor.
It felt like I was. The first time I was on set, I was 4 weeks into acting classes, and I was like, "How am I on set? I barely know where my mark is." Barely.
Wow. You know, I shouldn't be that surprised though, because me doing what I'm doing, it was a very similar fashion where it was just kind of a mere happenstance. So I just never thought of anyone being drawn to acting by a dare.
That was it. In the last 8 years, I've gone from never taking an acting class to acting, directing, writing, producing, flying out to LA and selling a movie that I helped produce.
That's awesome. That's kind of like that Cinderella type story, you know?
I think she had like a dream though of being a princess. It was never even in the cards for me to be an actor.
True. Fair.
She thought about it. I didn't even think about it.
Well, that's not true. Twice a year, you would have to think about it for 4 years.
Well, twice a year, yeah. Bill would call me like, "Yeah, no."
Tell me about the upskirt shot.
The upskirt shot. That was actually written by Emmy Award winner Gary Chason, who was my first acting teacher. And he did things like Paper Moon, The Last Picture Show, great classic movies. And in acting class, he picked me out and goes, "Hey, you want to do a comedy?" Me? Sure, I want you to be the lead. And I was honored, I was humbled, I was blown out that somebody wanted me to be a lead. And I did it. It was my third project I ever did. And it was just amazing. Getting to work with somebody of his talent was just absolutely beneficial. And it was an amazing shoot, amazing people, and I loved it. And I won a very big award because of it.
Well, that's the thing is like you were fresh out of acting class, and you ended up winning an award for it.
Yeah, and nobody was more shocked than I was. I mean, literally when they were doing the award show, I was like, I'm sitting there with my hand on my, on my face, and I'm just like, yep, very good. And they call my name, and I'm going, huh?
Hey, but you had to feel good though, right?
Oh, it was a great feeling, but I wasn't expecting to do it in the least.
Those are the best kind of wins where they come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was. And then the second project I did was Dallas, the TV series with Larry Hagman.
Yeah, actually, that was my next question is how nervous, if at all, were you running scenes with Larry Hagman?
And this is going to sound really weird. I wasn't.
Really?
I mean, I had grown up watching him on I Dream of Jeannie, and my mom used to watch Dallas back in the 80s, so I'd seen him quite a few times on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got there that day, he just walked up and said, hi, how you doing? Cool. You ready? Yeah, let's do it.
See, I think people like to forget that actors are just people, and we build them up in our heads to be almost mythical style creatures. Like, oh my God, I just saw Bigfoot. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is, but I didn't really have that towards him. I mean, I always, I was impressed with his work. I always thought he was very funny on I Dream of Jeannie, but I was like, here he is, and he just walked right up to me and hi. You ready?
No fanboy moment or anything like that?
No weird moments, no tongue-tied, none of it.
Travis Dunn, cool as a cucumber.
Not to say I haven't been starstruck on set.
Oh, yeah?
It just wasn't that time.
Who?
Scott Bakula.
Really? Yeah, okay. Mr. Quantum Leap.
Yeah, and I have to admit, I was a little, I've been watching you since I was a little kid. Oh, you were great. And I didn't walk up and say any of that, though.
No, but internally, that little fangirl is going, squee!
Oh, yeah, my little fanboy is making all kinds of noises. But he saw that big, silly grin on my face, and he walked right up and just said, would you like a hug? Actually, I would.
Yes, please.
He gave me a very nice side hug, and I was like, okay. He goes, all right, you're in the scenes tomorrow, right? Yeah, I'm playing Travis. You're playing Travis Cage. And he knew everything about my character, everything.
Huh.
He even gave me a little backstory on it and how it came to be. And he was just the absolute nicest guy.
That's so awesome. Is there any others that have gotten you kind of out of sorts a little bit internally?
No.
Nope, just Scott Bakula.
Yeah, I followed his whole career. Quantum Leap, Enterprise, you name it.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up watching Quantum Leap as well, and I think I'd probably have been in the same boat you were in, like.
I had this dumb, stupid grin on my face. He's like, would you like a hug? Yeah, I could go for a hug.
What do the words no ma'am mean for you?
Okay, I was a little too much of a Married with Children fan. Back Ed O'Neill series back in the 80s. And No Ma'am was the fictional group he founded. Mm-hmm. And so I stole it when I went into racing, and I used it as my team name, No Ma'am. And we had it right down the hood what it stood for. And my girlfriend at the time actually made the thing up, the big vinyl for the actual car. So she thought it was funny too.
So have you always had a love for cars?
Yeah, my dad was an ex-racer, so his son became a racer, and I was racing karts by the time I was 5.
I would imagine then the love for cars and the racing is what got you to be a spokesperson for Can-Am.
Nothing to do with it whatsoever. They wanted me for my comedic acting ability.
Really?
They had a real nice guy in there named Can-Am champion, race champion off-road, Dustin Jones. But they needed somebody to play off of him that could make him funny. So I was, offering the quirky, funny little routine, and he got to play off of it, and it was really very nice. I really enjoyed it.
Just a mere coincidence then that you had a love for cars and were offered the part.
as they lived in fear when they saw me get on the RV for the first time.
Why is that?
I peeled out and got it up to 70 miles an hour.
Woo!
Off-road. And they were like, okay, you don't need to go that far over the top. We have a stuntman for you. I said, no need. Well, yeah, but you're going to have to jump logs. And I was like, yeah, it was a big, stupid looking grin on my face. You got it.
Yes, sir.
But I'm jumping logs, running around out in the woods, and everything they would let me do.
Wow. I bet the stuntman was like, I'm not getting paid today, am I?
Oh, no, he got paid. He got to do it. He got to ride 2 stunts they would not let me do.
Which 2?
Straight up at an incline, through mud, and then I'm jumping a ravine. That was the other one they wouldn't let me do.
Seems reasonable.
They were like, insurance is not going to allow this. Just no. I was like, all right.
So since you're a car guy, what's your favorite car?
Oh.
Because everybody's got one.
I like different cars for different things.
Okay.
Now, to give you an idea what that means, I've had 8 Mustangs, 3 Camaros, 1 Trans Am, 1 Corvette, 1 Jaguar, 1 Maserati, and believe it or not, a Miata.
They're not bad cars.
No, actually, the Miata was actually the most fun to drive. It was literally just fun. I mean, it was so lightweight, it's like riding a go-kart.
Mm-hmm.
The V8s, of course, are a lot of fun because of the sound and the rumble and the way they peeled out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
that, Detroit Steel.
Yeah, the next one I'm building is actually a Shelby Mustang.
Like Shelby GT Judge?
No. You remember how back in 2007 they built a limited run of Shelby GTs at his actual plant?
Yeah.
I'm going to buy one, turn it to lime green, like the 67 color, and rip the top center section off and make a cabriolet out of it.
Nice. Okay, so then let me ask you this. Since you've owned several cars over the year, is there one car that you haven't had a chance to get your hands on yet that you would love to be able to either own or at least drive around the track?
Lotus Elise. That'd be the one I would pick for a great dual job car that can do daily track duty and go to work and back.
Nice. Any Hollywood cars, like movie cars, that you'd like to be able to get behind the wheel of?
Oh yeah. Now this is so far back. I'm sorry. I'm afraid that some of the viewers are not going to know this car. But you remember the old TV show Hardcastle McCormick?
I do not.
Don't worry. Most people do not. It had Daniel Hugh Kelly. I forget the other guy's name, but it had this gorgeous red car, custom built for the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was just absolutely exotic. Of course, years later, I found out they piped in Lamborghini Countach noises for the engine. It was really a Volkswagen.
Well, you know, one can dream.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said. I was like, I'm going to do this.
Build it and put your own Lamborghini engine in it and watch what happens.
Yeah, actually, that was considered at one point.
My daily driver that I'd like to get my hands on would be a Tucker.
Good luck. There's only 48 on the planet.
I know. And like, this is the pipe dream. I know. I go to the Henry Ford Museum here in Michigan and in Dearborn every once in a while. And I go to look specifically at the Tucker. I am amazed with the car just because of the history.
It was really ahead of its time. I mean, it had so many great ideas in it.
Yeah. And the big three squeezed him out, and it was terrible because that car Tucker could have been a name that everybody knew, like Ford.
And he had some great ideas. Like the engine could be taken out and replaced in 30 minutes?
Yep. That was because it was a helicopter engine that they had turned on their side. Tucker was also the first one to have the steerable headlight.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Seat belts, intermittent wipers and crash
Plexiglass
guards.
windshields.
Yeah, plexiglass and the crash guards up by your head.
Mm-hmm. It was really ahead of its time.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a chance. I'm not really a car guy. Like I grew up around it. My grandfather taught me how to work on cars and whatnot, but there's only like one or two of them that I get super nerdy on because I think they're interesting.
Oh, I'm a freak. I'm actually a SEMA member. I'm a car nutbag.
Actually, I saw that because I went scrolling through your Facebook and there are several pictures of you with, I'm going to guess it was a SEMA conference.
Yeah, the SEMA show out in Vegas. They have it first week of every November. And yeah, Mario Andretti's out there, Richard Petty's out there, you name it.
All right, let's switch gears back to your acting. You typically end up playing cops. Is this by design or just a recurring coincidence?
They see my face and they go, you're a cop. You're an FBI agent. You're the security guard. You're somebody with a badge. Every single time.
And how do you feel about that?
I just look at him and go, don't bother with the script. I know how to do the lines.
Well, actually, the movie poster that you have behind you right now, I know you co-wrote Decapitarium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, I do have a couple of questions about that movie. One of them being, as I was watching it, now I know it's loosely based on The Pit and the Pendulum.
Right.
But as I was watching it, I also got a lot of The Brain That Wouldn't Die.
That was actually, that was one of the movies that was prerequisite they gave me that I had to watch so I understood the feel for the movie.
I'm sorry, that movie is terrible.
It was terrible. But when you're doing a spoofy horror sci-fi, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
The worse, the better, because it's funnier.
Right. You're trying to make something watchable.
Yeah, you got to make it funnier. You got to make it so serious that they have to take it seriously.
Yeah, and your character, once again, a cop. Your character just seemed like he was not having any of the shenanigans that were going on in the movie.
Yeah, and he wasn't believing any of it. He had all kinds of problems.
Yeah. But I know you co-wrote it, and I'm assuming Jeff Dunn's your brother, right?
Actually, no. We had not met until this project, and it wasn't until we started doing backgrounds on our families that we actually figured out the fact we had relatives the same.
Okay, yeah, because I was looking through it, and I saw the name, and I was like, family affair. That's neat.
No. We had never met before. Literally, I answered a Actors Access request for actors.
Well, it is a good movie. It's a fun watch.
Thank you.
And
our freshman film. So yeah, we were pretty proud of it to get it done, and we were really proud to get Sam J. Jones to come in, flash forward, and do some scenes with us.
I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, why does that guy look so familiar? Like the energy that he had on screen, and I was sitting there, and it wasn't until the office scene where he's talking with the female employee, and I noticed on the wall the rocket from Flash Gordon. And that's when it clicked. I was like, wait a minute.
I've actually put 3 Easter eggs in there for Sam. The signs on the wall. If you notice the young woman he's interviewing or talking to, the student, there's a Ted doll, a Ted bear.
Yeah.
That he steals from her.
Uh-huh.
And the third one was in one of the scenes, he's actually reading a Flash Gordon comic book.
Yeah, that one's on the nose. But like I said, that picture on the wall, I was like, wait a minute, I know that symbol. And so I'm sitting there, and I like every person nowadays, I ran to Google. I was like, wait a minute, Flash Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was actually my Easter eggs.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why'd you have him stealing stuffed animals?
Well, you can't have him be right right down the middle normal for the whole thing. I mean, he's Mr. Normal. He's actually doing his job. He's a good guy, all that good stuff. And secretly, he's a kleptomaniac.
Okay. Yeah, there was no payoff to that later in the movie. It was just he steals things, and I'm like, what? Why?
Well, nobody's perfect. I mean, that was his little thing.
As harmless as it is, yeah.
He was laughing hysterically. He's like, okay, I'm stealing teddy bears. And he saw Ted and he just started laughing. He's like, oh, why not?
So what's it like being behind the camera then as a writer and as a producer?
It's a totally different thing. Acting is the artist in me. The writer's the artist in me. Producing really is, I take a lot of it from construction, being a construction superintendent for so many years.
How so?
You gotta line stuff up, you gotta put it in order, and you have to be able to decipher how much time it's gonna take for each scene, getting ready for the next one, very much in the same steps as a construction project.
Okay.
And I have to figure out which crafts I need on which days.
Organizational skills, time management skills. Yeah, okay. It makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I applied it, and it worked out amazingly well. My partner was just like, okay, yeah, you do this part. I'm going to go do that directing thing. Okay.
When it comes to writing, what genre do you prefer to write for?
I always go to horror. I don't know why. I love comedy. Some reason I don't write a lot of it.
Are you a big horror fan yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Favorite horror movie then?
I don't know. Do we want to go back to the classics, Michael and Jason? Do we want to skip forward and look at Piranha, which I thought was always highly underrated?
It is. It very much is. No, I wherever you want to start, because like I've watched. I'm a giant horror and sci-fi fan, and my movie knowledge goes all the way back to like the 40s. So.
Oh yeah, I can hang with you. We can go back to Lon Chaney and all that.
Man of a Thousand Faces.
Yes, sir, and Lon Chaney Jr.
Yep.
What was your favorite?
If you want from my generation, see, I was born in the 80s. Hands down, 100% will never change. It is not so much the movie, but the character himself, Freddy Krueger. There's something about him making fun of you while he's killing you that seems scarier than all the rest.
The concept is absolutely frightening. Can come at you in your dreams.
Yes. But
everybody else comes at you, you're awake.
But the thing that sold it for me is the fact that he's not only terrorizing you, but he's teasing you at the same time. And I don't know why, but that seems scarier to me than Jason or Michael just showing up out of the shadow after you've run a quarter mile.
Exactly. Because at least you got a shot at fighting them off.
Right. You know, you've just got this dream demon who's cracking jokes on you and slicing you up, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, as a character, Freddy is my top tier.
Okay. If I had to pick one that I enjoy the most, it'd probably be the Michael Myers series.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know. I kind of connect with that one.
The Shape was a formidable foe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I recently watched the newest one, and I was like sitting there. I was like, no, this is off. They've completely screwed everything up. And then I had to go back and watch the originals. And like the main thing that I was complaining about is that, you know, Michael Myers didn't stage bodies, and I was wrong. You know, I had completely forgotten the fact that, yeah, he did, because like he'd put a head in the closet or hang a body up so it fell down. And I was like, okay, I was wrong. That's fine. But like, yeah, I completely had forgotten that he did that.
Well, it's really fun if you want to. Is take the latest one, but take the very first one. Watch the first one, then watch the latest one.
Well, yeah, because they linked up. They basically made everything after the second movie not exist.
Which was good because the third one, well, not really good, but the third one was absolutely terrible.
We don't shit on Halloween 3.
I take a big dump on Halloween 3.
We accept the fact that Halloween 3 would have been a great movie had it not been called Halloween.
Oh, well, in that case, yes.
Yeah. We are Joe Bob Briggs fans, and as such, by extension, Darcy the Mail Girl, and we don't say an unkind word about Halloween 3.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's why. Okay.
But no, it would have been a great horror movie had they not put the Halloween title on it, or if they had continued what they were trying to do, which is, move away from Michael Myers and do like a Halloween horror movie every year, every couple of years, just with the Halloween title on it.
Yeah, that's actually kind of some of the inspiration I took when I wrote one that we're going to do later this year.
Oh, yeah? Can you tell me the name of it?
It doesn't have a name yet. The whole idea of it kind of came from just an accidental thing I did for Halloween.
Okay.
I threw the biggest Halloween bash in the neighborhood with the most number of stuff in the front yard to scare the hell out of kids. And it was absolutely wild. We had 4 coffins, people in them jumping out at children. I mean, skeletons falling from the trees, the whole 9 yards on remote.
You sound like you would be the perfect next door neighbor for me.
Yeah. Well, actually, my neighbors do like me, believe it or not. They get to kind of just sit and watch what I'm getting into.
I love Halloween. Got a love for the holiday from my mother because she was into all things creepy and spooky, and growing up, Halloween was always a big deal. She homemade my costumes and stuff like that. So as an adult, I'm eagerly waiting for the day where I have enough disposable income to turn my front yard into
a graveyard.
Yeah, a graveyard, a haunted house, whatever.
15-foot skeletons with glowing red eyes. We really went too far.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. If I had a 15-foot skeleton with glowing red eyes, he's staying up all year.
We did honestly think about putting a Santa hat and leaving it out there.
Yeah, you can redecorate him for every holiday.
Yeah, it was 200 pounds. I was like, do we really want to take this thing down?
Santa hat for Christmas, bunny ears for Easter, a little St. Patrick's hat.
Summer, put a little flowery shirt on.
Right. 4th of July, he could have sparklers in his hands.
Oh, sparklers. That would have been good. No, we had so much stuff, we literally had to go rent a warehouse.
To store it all after?
Yeah, it was that bad.
Man, yeah, you'd be the perfect next door neighbor. Because I know a lot of like little makeup and crazy little techniques and stuff like that. That's why I love horror so much, is I'm actually a practical effects guy that I enjoy the artistry of it.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I know quite a few of them. Actually, they come over here on Halloween night and do up the guests.
Nice.
And we go out the front. We just scare the living hell out of children. And the game is how far you can get them to run at top speed.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Halfway down the block seems to be the record.
One year I did myself up and sat on the front porch and didn't move, and waited for the trick-or-treaters to get the candy from the door and turn around and walk away. And then I'd jump out and holler at them. I had this devil half mask on where I'd done up the whole bottom of my face, and my arms were all painted, and I had yellow gnarly nails and everything. Yeah, like I had stippled on blood gel on my arms and made it look like I had wounds and stuff like that.
All right, you're invited to the next one.
It's just fun.
I got you in.
Yeah. Well, see, my favorite thing to do was to hit up like Spirit Halloween or Halloween USA at the end of the year and buy up their makeup section and just sit on it until next year.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the season's over, except for this year, because if it's so funky that none of the stores even had stuff in it.
Yeah. Yeah, the last couple of years, I was surprised. We had quite a few trick-or-treaters this year, and I was happy to see that.
I had 20% of what I usually have.
We had to go out twice and get more candy.
The first year we did it, we ran through 80 pounds of candy.
Oof, that's a lot.
I don't even want to guess what we did the next year, because not only did I bring 100 pounds in, everybody else brought stuff in.
Wow.
It was insane.
Now, do your neighbors get into the spirit of things? Because, like, that's the thing that bugs me is, like, as I've gotten older, I've noticed less and less porch lights on.
Yeah, I did too, but my neighbors kind of feed off me. And they'll be like, hey, you got extra stuff? Just throw it in our yard. And we do. We'll put a bench on their front yard and put skeletons all over it.
Yeah, I've talked about starting a campaign to move Halloween permanently to the last Friday in October, because I feel that when it falls on a Sunday or a weekday, it just kind of ruins the whole experience.
You know, I would honestly agree with that, but even that one year where it fell on a Thursday, the party went till 3 a.m. and I had to kick everybody out at 3.
Yeah, but like make it a floating holiday. Like Easter's a floating holiday, and so is Thanksgiving. They don't fall in the same, And I think Halloween as a trick-or-treating holiday, not the Samhain or the pagan holiday or anything like that, but Halloween, as you and I love it, would work best as a floating holiday. And I think that might give people a better opportunity to participate.
I could go for that. Every time they've tried to do that in my neighborhood, they tried to say, okay, it's on a Sunday, so we're going to do it Saturday night. It never worked. Nobody ever took it seriously.
Well, and see, that's why I want to do a petition, maybe to try to move it nationally, because then maybe everybody will get behind it. But like I said, the thing that bothers me is that as I've gotten older, there's less and less porch lights on, and I can't help but think somebody fucking did it for you. I mean, go get some candy, buy a cheap mask or something, have some fun with it.
Yeah, in my neighborhood, I mean, I can honestly tell you, there's probably 4 lights on my street. One person actually also decorated. I had the biggest thing going.
Now, how does that translate at Christmas time? Are there more houses that decorate for Christmas?
I'd have to say so, yes.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm just grumpy. I don't like Christmas to begin with. I think Halloween is the best holiday there is. So,
well, I think it's funny because Christmas we actually do decorate, and we might throw all of our arrangements on. We've got custom film. We actually shoot up at the house, and we've got all lights and stuff going on. And that stuff goes on for 30 days. Halloween's really just one night.
Yeah, it takes like 4 weeks of buildup for one night of fun.
We start in September, actually.
All right, so depending on when in September, a month and a half.
Yeah, well, we're rigging 6 weeks to 8 weeks out.
Tell me that there are photos from your house this year that you can send me privately so I can see this extravaganza.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't mind if you put them up. I mean, they were all over the news.
Okay, yeah, because I have to see. Like, I used to belong to a group called the Haunt Club here in Michigan, where it was a bunch of people that loved Halloween, and everybody knew how to do a little something, and they shared what they knew, and so everybody learned things as they went. And just I love the people that love Halloween because they're always so over the top with it.
Yeah, so that's one way to, describe my house. We do the inside. We do the inside too.
Wow.
I mean, even the inside is absolutely frightening.
So you start in September, and what? You've got everything back down again by Christmas?
Yes. The teardown actually takes a lot less time than the building it up.
See, I would think that you'd be close to the same time.
Now, because of electronics and stuff that we've got on remotes and stuff we have switched on, and that last minute, hey, you know what might be fun? Let's build a pirate ship in the driveway. Yeah, that's when your wife looks at you and goes, You're going to build a pirate ship? Okay, that's on you, because I've still got to build the lava pit in the living room.
Well, see, that's the good thing, though. At least your wife is into it with you.
She's more into it than me. I find it absolutely. I'm like, we're going to do a wood chipper shooting out body parts. She's like, yes. Okay.
Well, see, all you got to do is throw on the uniform from one of your acting gigs, and that way when the police showed up, you can be like, I've got it covered, officer.
No problem, guys. I got this one. Y'all can just move on.
So, as we were talking about the writing, which do you prefer more, writing or acting?
If you'd asked me 2 years ago, I would have said I would rather act. But I looked at everything in my career and I kept going, wait a minute, you've written 26 commercials, documentaries, and I was like, geez, you really are kind of both ways at the same time. I don't know. I never saw myself doing any of it, so it's like it's just a miracle that I can do any of it.
Fair. I've always stayed away from being on camera. Like, so the fact that we've done these video interviews and we've started adding this is both a blessing and a curse to me, because the blessing side of it is I get to talk with great and awesome people. The curse side of it is I have to stare at my ugly mug the whole time.
Well, all you got to do is do what I'm doing right now. I stuck your picture as the main one, so I'm only looking at you.
Yeah, that's how I've got it set up too, is I'm very, very small.
Well, when I do acting, I mean, honestly, I act as if nobody else is even in the room. I shut them out.
I've had a few opportunities to be on camera. I've actually got an opportunity in the pipeline to be in a movie. It'll be a very minor thing. I'm sure it'll just be, somebody's walking past a radio or a TV and you'll hear my voice. But, I'm coming around the idea of not always being hidden, but I also write too. So, it's, I think I like that side of it more, if anything ever comes of it.
You never know. And I'm the wrong person to ask, because I've been just insanely blessed and lucky.
If you had advice for an aspiring, film writer or, actor, what would it be?
If you really don't love it, don't get into it. There's too many unpassionate people as is, and it really belongs to the artists, the ones that really want to do it.
Sound advice.
And I mean, really at the beginning, it started off as a lark, but I fell in love with it. And then somebody asked me to write a short, and I did it. Then I wrote a commercial for a lasagna house or something or another. It just snowballed.
And I'm going to assume probably tacked in there, never be afraid to get outside your box.
Don't put yourself in a box to begin with.
Very good. I like that.
You don't know what you're capable until you go all the way out and find out what you're capable of.
So what's been your favorite project so far?
Decapitarian was probably the most involved I've ever been, because I was in every single facet you can think of, including directing. I directed the B team.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a B camera team. I'm sorry, I just said that. But yeah, that would probably be the most interesting to me, because I did all the different jobs, including craft. When you're on a micro budget, you do it all.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you wear many hats. I've got zero budget for what I'm doing, and I wear every hat. That's why my end of the year looks the way it does.
Well, you feel that way when you're shooting too. It's always like, okay, I've got lunch coming at noon. Wait a minute, who's running drone? Crap, I'm running drone. So crane shots.
Inversely, without saying what that least favorite might be, what lessons have you learned from your least favorite projects?
I think you learn more from doing it wrong and working with the wrong people than you ever will learn from doing it with the right people.
What's one lesson you have learned?
One of the big ones was do not get a crew together that is a bickering group of people. It just makes the job harder, longer, and there's always somebody feuding with somebody. Try to get a crew that gels together. And the second thing I would say would be the actors. The actors, take away the cell phones, make them be in the same room together. They're going to be doing scenes together.
Socialize.
It's that familiarity. It's that it has an organic feeling on screen. If you watched me, Sam, and Mark do Decapitarium in our little scene with him, it was organic because me and Mark are very, very good friends. And Sam became just kind of like, the third stooge, and it was hysterical. Get to work together. I'm not calling him a stooge or anything.
No, I know what you mean, as in the Three Stooges, Larry,
Right.
Larry, Curly, and Moe.
It had that kind of chemistry to it. It was just so much fun. And believe it or not, that whole scene we did in one take.
Really?
And that was at Sam's request, actually. He said, guys, go off script. Go as far out as you want to go. Let's see what comes out of this. And they cut, and the director was on the floor laughing. All the people behind the scenes were laughing. And it was like, okay, replay it real quick. Okay, well, we got it. Next.
Well, that brings me to another question then. How is your ad-libbing skills? Do you like ad-libbing? Do you like going off script?
I prefer it. I love to get an idea running through my head. I just go with it.
Nice. So have you done a lot of improv work then?
Tons. Like I'm kind of known in town as, hey, if you literally need a guy the same day, there's no time to learn the script. Just bring in Travis and he will get through it.
Get through it. Yeah,
I had one. I literally went 8 pages and I didn't know any idea what was on the paper.
Well, I definitely have enjoyed watching the work of yours that I was able to track down before this. I know you got a role in a TV show coming up, Homicide.
Yeah, I play a cop again. I show up, they just looked at me and said, "You're a cop, aren't you?" "Yes, I'm the detective. Give me my fake badge, give me my rubber gun. I'll be over there."
I'm pretty sure, man, 20 more roles and you get that pension.
I might. I've had real cops, though, on set walk right up to me and ask what precinct I was from. They honestly thought I was a real cop, and I was like, huh, okay.
Well, that means you're convincing.
Yeah, even the real cops thought I was a real cop. And I was like, okay.
How'd you get the role in the Shaolin Cowboy video?
That was a wonderful one to get. Actually, that was through Rob Nielsen, and we did that little movie called Hank and Honey,
Mm-hmm.
the one that Robert Rodriguez personally bought for his TV station.
I was going to get to that one. So,
But I worked with him on that. We've always done great work together. Always done great work. I love working with Rob. And he calls me out of the blue and says, "Hey, would you mind coming down? It's just a little music video, little band. You mind?" And I was like, "What am I playing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm going to play you as a drunk vagrant." I was like, "Not a cop?" He goes, "Not a cop." Okay.
anything that isn't a cop.
Yeah, not a cop. That's all you had to say, really.
Yeah, the group is Mr. Plow.
Mr. Plow, yes, and they named that after The Simpsons.
I kind of figured, because it's a really weird name to come up with on your own.
It was nice, guys. Good little video.
But since we mentioned Hank and Honey, your lovely little Christmas short.
It's heartwarming.
It is. It's I enjoyed watching it. I watched it a couple of times, actually, just because, like, the first time I was sitting there analyzing it, and it's when you're trying to watch things for these interviews, the first watch is always super analytical because you're looking at it from every aspect and whatnot. So usually the second time is more for fun, and the third time comes through as like, okay, these are the things that I thought I caught. Now I'm catching them. Let's write these down.
Mhm.
which is why the brain that wouldn't die was the question that came up for Decapitarium, because I was like, I know
Mhm.
I've seen this movie before. But with Hank and Honey, you that short was actually, like you said, picked up on the El Rey network, and you had the honor of being like the first actor interviewed, correct?
I'm the first and only actor ever to be interviewed for it. It
Why
was actually,
nobody after you?
I don't know. I don't know why they didn't do actors more, but they only picked the producer or the director to interview.
You were the showstopper.
I guess. I mean, I guess they figured I could handle being in front of the camera, and I was like, okay. So, Rodriguez bought me a plane ticket out to LA to go shoot his interview.
So you actually, was he the one interviewing you then?
It was his questions. I don't think he didn't write. This guy didn't walk up and say his name. It might have been Robert Rodriguez. It looked like him, but I didn't want to be presumptuous. They never introduced himself, so yeah.
Maybe. So how did Hank and Honey come to be?
That was just that again. It was one guy was looking for Robert Nilsson was looking for a comedy actor who could do dark humor. And a friend of mine named Brian Watson goes, "Hey, I know a guy," and they put us together, and we hit it off immediately. Got to laughing hysterically at lunch, and then it was like, okay, we can work together. And
Well,
it was just brilliant.
it was. I like I said, I watched it a couple of times and I really enjoyed it. And I remember when you sent it to me, it was like, it's almost Christmas time. Here's a heartwarming tale. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it. I'm like, sarcasm.
That's the great part about it. It's dark humor Christmas. It was like, nobody does these. This will be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I want you to know that Hank and Honey is going to get added to my collection of holiday horror, I guess, in a way, dark comedy. I hate Christmas. I absolutely hate the holiday. My wife loves it. She's like, I want to watch a Christmas movie. And I'm like, okay, here's my list of horror movies that take place during Christmas time. Which one do you want to watch?
Let me guess. Santa's sleigh is somewhere near the top.
Yes. Well, that's her favorite. Yeah. In fact, I hadn't seen Santa's sleigh until her and I got together.
Really?
Yeah, and it's weird because I am or definitely was, however you want to say it, a wrestling fan. So it should have been on my radar. Plus, it takes place here in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I hadn't seen it until she had put it on. But no, it's Santa's Sleigh, Rare Exports, which if you haven't seen is a fantastic movie. Rare Exports. It's subtitled in English. I want to say Swedish, in Netherlands, Swedish, somewhere in there. I didn't get to watch it this year, so that's why I'm fumbling a little bit. The Krampus movie that they released a few years ago.
Still haven't seen it, but before we get away from Santa's sleigh too far, I got to talk to Bill Goldberg about that movie.
Really?
And yeah, he said they're still trying to figure out how to make a sequel.
Really?
Yeah, and here's one more little tidbit about that. I'll get completely off Santa's sleigh. You remember the Gold Digger scene where there was a brunette swinging above the stage?
Uh-huh.
That's his wife now. No joke. Honestly, he told me in person to my face. So
That's
check
great.
it out. It's real.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I said, it is a holiday favorite of ours. So I will have to pass that information on to my wife. I think she'll be giddy that they're even considering making a sequel.
They're trying to. Of course, they lost Robert Culp, who played the angel.
Yeah.
And the kid went on to be a great star.
Well, like the acting in that movie is a lot better than that movie was in a way. You're like, everybody is just on point. You have this completely ridiculous story and everybody is just on point. There isn't a single person that you're like, well, they were phoning it in.
Yeah, that was amazing considering they actually had a really good really good. Never really ever saw them actors.
Yeah. Well, let's see. At the dinner scene alone, you had James Caan, you had Fran Drescher, you had Chris Kattan. The guy that played the deli owner. He has been in a million things, and you've seen him everywhere. I can't think of what his name is, so I do apologize. But yeah, it's Cameo City essentially.
Oh, it is, and they were so good at it. It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
You can't watch it without going, this is just fun.
Right. You're sitting there thinking that the set for that movie had to be fun to be on.
Oh, yeah. That's what I would have liked to have been on.
And I think that's what really sells a movie for me, too, is like Decapitarian seems like it's one of those movies as well, where you can tell that the actors are having just as much fun making it as you are watching it.
Thank you. Sincerely. That is exactly it. We had a good time, and a lot of lifetime friendships were definitely made on set.
Well, that's good. And see, that's the thing. That's like why I admire directors and writers like Kevin Smith, who, when they find that core group, they stay with them. So any writer, any director, any person that it uses the same actors a lot, you get to understand that this is more than just a paying gig. This is I'm getting together with my family to have a good time, and you guys get to see what comes out of it.
And you know how to pull their cords. You know how everybody works.
Yeah, and everybody knows how you work.
And that's just as important, if not more important.
Yeah.
We need this scene out of you. We need you to do this emotion. Okay.
Is there one director you'd love to work under, or a film project you hope to get a call for?
Probably Martin Scorsese for director. As far as trilogies and movie series, I have to say Die Hard.
Yeah.
I'm a Bruce Willis fan, so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do something with him someday.
Well, I mean, Die Hard's a great series.
Oh yeah,
it's one of the ultimate Christmas movies.
Yep, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
If you ever get to talk to Kevin Smith, I got to hang out with him one night. He is absolutely inspirational.
I've met him once before. Very, very short. So when he was screening Red State, my fans, because money was tight at that point, my fans all bought merch or donated so I could get tickets to go see Red State. And so they did it here in Michigan. There was a screening, and I went, and I actually got to be the last question of the night. And I asked him, it was about his radio network that he was getting started at that point, because me being a radio guy, I had questions and whatnot. And he was so kind and so gracious. And even like after I was done, he let me run up on stage with him to get a picture. I absolutely love Kevin Smith. I grew up on his movies, man. I grew up on the Clerks and Mallrats, and Dogma. Eventually found Vulgar. Followed Randall. It's not his real name. Can't think of it right now. Yeah, followed his career and writing and everything else. It's there are a lot of people who got their start, or damn near got their start, in his movies that have just gone on to do amazing things. And he himself is, you're right, inspirational, because I follow him on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff.
I got to hang out with him one night after one of his shows for a couple hours. And it was just, by the time we were done talking to him, it was like, oh, that guy gave me so many good ideas, and even how to do it. Like the nuts and little bolts that most people won't get into. And he was like, yeah, you need to get this, go to here, talk to this person about distribution. And he was absolutely nice about it.
Yeah, I was never prouder of him than when he decided to self-produce, self-publish and whatnot, self-distribute, because he kept getting deals that he didn't think were fair or right, or wasn't getting treated the same way other directors and writers were getting treated, and he just got tired of it. He built his empire and decided, okay.
And after meeting him and hanging out with him, I was like, good for you.
So, 2 more questions here, and these are going into me scrolling your Facebook feed.
Oh boy.
The first one is,
this better not be the one of me nude skating.
No, but I did save that one for later.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, all right. Now I'm ready. I'll be prepared by the time you ask it. Go ahead.
So in 2020, you did a Facebook challenge. You did 10 films that had an impact on you. Now, I was only able to find 4 of those posts. I'm guessing the other ones either got deleted or pushed to the wayside or whatnot. But I wrote down the movies here, and I want to know how they impacted you.
Okay.
The first one was a scene from Batman. It was Jack Nicholson's Joker.
Mm-hmm.
So how did Batman impact you?
The 1989 Batman, starring Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton. It was for a long time either my favorite or second favorite movie ever. That one, it didn't just tell a story, but it did it with humor, and it had the right amount of violence to go with it, and it showed a very different Batman from the thing that he actually would go around killing people.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of got lost in the second movie on. He really was the Dark Knight.
Yes.
And for me, I was like, oh, this is just plain different. He played it completely different, and you couldn't help but love Nicholson playing the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
It was so much fun. I was just like, wow, okay, that's how you play a bad guy. You're just lost in there.
Chewing the scenery, too.
Yeah, I mean, he was so lost in the character that you just never knew what he was going to do the first time you saw it.
Yeah, Nicholson and Ledger. Those are the 2 portrayals of the Joker that we got on the big screen that I absolutely love. So I get that.
Yeah, and it's one of the few movies I've ever seen 10 times in theaters.
See, I was a kid. I only got to see it once in theaters.
I saw it 10 times. That is the only movie I think I've ever done that with.
The next movie that you had a screen grab from was Blazing Saddles.
That's my love for Mel Brooks. I love the way he will push the envelope by trying to show everybody is screwed up. They're just all screwed up in a different way.
Yeah, actually, I have a theory. So I got an interview coming up next month with a writer that is very similar to how Mel Brooks writes. And when I was watching his movies, I happened upon a thought process. And we don't make movies like that anymore.
You can't.
I understand with the PC terms and stuff like that. I'm talking about the structure of the movie more than anything else, because I feel, and I could be completely off base because I'm just a guy from Detroit that doesn't know anything. But I feel the reason being is that we don't have writers that respect vaudeville anymore. And so the style of the movies that are being done, because like with Mel Brooks movies and these other movies, there's a lot going on. There's a lot in the foreground. There's a lot in the background. There's sight gags and left and right. And there, even though that there's this overarching story, it still feels like a bunch of vaudeville skits that were sewn together expertly.
That's a very good analogy. Well put.
So
yeah.
I miss movies like that.
I do too, and that's why I think a lot of movies you can watch them once now, but you don't want to rewatch them.
Yeah, I will go back and watch Blazing Saddles 100 times.
If it was on right now, I'd watch it.
Yeah. Any of Mel Brooks's work, honestly, Spaceballs, Blazing Saddles, History of the World Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I hope that he's able to chuck out one last one before, you know, he's no longer with us, because I think the world needs one more Mel Brooks movie.
I think the world needs one more good slap to the head. Hey, wake up.
Yeah.
And he was great at that.
The other photo that you had up was Rebel Without a Cause. How did that impact you?
When I was a kid, I liked it. When I got to be an actor, I looked at it, and if I was playing a bad boy role or somebody out of control, I'd look at it for inspiration. And I love the way Jimmy Dean played that one. You know, Giant, of course, is, you know, actually filmed in my home state of Texas, but I was a lot closer to Rebel as far as the material.
Okay. And then the last one that I was able to find was Metropolis.
1927 German silent movie.
Yes, I know it well. It's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, actually, if you look right there, yeah, it hangs in the dining room.
So how did it impact you?
The dedication, the trickery with the camera, so many things that were so far ahead of its time. The themes, the shadows, the fact they used the shadows to help tell the stories. And it just, and the dedication it took. I mean, like some of the scenes, like the flooding scene, they had 30-degree water that these actors had to go swimming through because he wanted them to look cold. I was like, okay, that's pretty extreme, but they were after something there.
Yeah. Well, and the style from Metropolis has been used or borrowed or stolen or however you want to say it so many times over and over again. You've got City of the Lost Children. You've got Dark City. There are tones of it that you can
cartoon.
See. Yeah, there are tones of it that you can see in movies like The Matrix, and anything that's really ultimately dystopian pretty much is kind of from Metropolis.
Yeah, and it's amazing. And the fact that what they had to do it with and all the things they pulled off just blew me out.
It's that love for practical effects again.
Yeah. And when they redid it in the 84, they put a rock soundtrack behind it. A bunch of rockers from the 80s did a soundtrack to it. It was just made it even more amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one of the things that aggravates me sometimes about Hollywood is that I'm so tired of remakes and reboots. I wish we could like have the appreciation for film past instead of trying to negate that it happened and repackage it and make it look, this is new. We just came up with this.
You didn't. You're just stealing the best aspects of whatever it was originally.
Are they even getting the best aspects though?
I don't know. Sometimes they miss the mark. I'm like, what was that?
You know, I sit there and like, because my wife is 10 years younger than I am, so we are basically a different generation. And I know, nice flex, right?
Yeah.
But so we'll sit there and she's like, oh, I want to see this. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind watching it, but I'd rather go back and watch the original. And she's like, you're such an old man.
It was better.
Yeah, get off my porch. That's my response.
It's like when they redid the movie. Oh boy, you just blanked. Lovely. The car chase movie where they go around killing people. Death Wish. The original Death Wish. I was like, Death Wish was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that one, sad, gloomy, grumpy. And they didn't go around running over people at hospitals. I was like, oh, come on.
There's a movie or a TV series that you made me think of it when you said Death Wish that I need to show a friend of mine. Blood Drive, that was on Sci-Fi. It got one season, 13 episodes. Absolutely top tier schlock horror at its best.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to dive into your Facebook one more time.
Oh, geez. I hope this doesn't have anything to do with the three hookers in the midship of the camera, but okay.
No, again, saved for personal use for later.
Ah, okay.
So the holidays was recently, and I noticed a photo that you put up of a dessert disaster. I need to know what happened with the pie caking.
Well, the pie cake, and it was my wife sitting down, and she's looking through her phone. She goes, "Hey, we wonder what to do for dessert. I've got it." And I go, "What's that?" "Try 5 desserts in one." I was like, okay, so it's got pecan pie at the bottom. It's got cheesecake at the second. It's got red velvet at the third level, going straight up. Fourth, you've got some sort of cream. And the fifth level had cherries, the candy cherries.
Maraschino cherries?
No, these are the ones that would be more like in a cherry pie filling.
Okay.
And it was like, yeah, this looks like a really great idea. I was like, sure. She orders it, it comes in. And in the picture, it's huge. I mean, this thing is absolutely monstrous.
Mm-hmm.
We get it out of the little box, and it's 8 inches tall. You know, we're kind of looking at it going, okay. Anyway, it comes time for Christmas Day. We pop it out. It's really impressive, and it looks great from the outside, just like the picture. We cut into it. Yeah, you could tell the different layers. They're perfect. If we're coming by mail, it looked perfect. I mean, literally, there wasn't a thing wrong with it,
mm-hmm.
which surprised me. I figured coming by UPS, I figured it would be about 100 different pieces.
Smash cake.
Yeah, smash cake. Exactly, smash cake. But we started cutting it. Everybody takes a slice, and it's like, okay, go in order and try to tell me which one you like the most. Oh. Seriously, the first piece, everybody just about gagged. I mean, everybody's gagging on the very first thing they tried. Second one, we're going to take a lot smaller bite this next one. And we keep going up, and it's like, this thing's god awful. They got 5 cakes and pies in here, and none of them are good.
So was it just the cakes and the pies themselves were not well made?
Well made in what respect are you talking?
Tasting.
Tasting. They taste god awful. Literally, it was like, you want to give it to the neighbor? I said, I don't even want to give it to the dog. It went in the trash can 2 seconds later.
I mean, the only thing that you mentioned that would be like a hard no for me is I don't like red velvet. I've never liked red velvet cake.
And you have 4 other cakes and pies and that one slice to,
Yeah,
enjoy.
I like pecan pie or pecan, however the appropriate way to say it that doesn't get me yelled at on the internet.
Don't worry. Either way, you're going to piss somebody off.
Yeah, I like cheesecake. I like cherry pie. Like, I can't imagine how someone can screw those up so badly that even when combined, like I can get the pecan and the others maybe not playing well together. I really do, because it's so rich and it's got such a strong, unique flavor of its own. But everything else should have worked.
Yeah, you would have thought so in theory, but no, not in practicality.
It's a shame.
We all winced, looked at it, went, "Don't ever do that again," like ever.
Yeah, because when I saw it, I was sitting here with me and my merry band of idiots, and we were talking about it, and we had said that it could probably work if it was done right, but you would have to have flavors that pair well together. You couldn't go off the reservation for like half the cake and then bring it back to something normal.
We would have been happy with any one cake or pie in there being eatable,
tolerable. Yeah.
I mean, at least we could have eaten that one, whatever that thing was.
Well, I'm not going to have you blast the bakery you got it from, but don't order from them again.
No, that's not going to be a problem. My wife was very insistent, honey, we are never doing this again. And I'm over here like, no, there was no question in this.
I wasn't too sure of it to begin with, so.
Well, I'm one of these bad husbands. I kind of let my wife kind of get what she wants because I'm usually gone working out of town and everything. So I'm like, yeah, you want to do something? Sure.
Yeah. That's not necessarily being a bad husband. That's just ensuring that there are less headaches when you are there.
It does. It helps.
You know, I spend most of my time in my office / studio working. I pop out for a meal or to go to the bathroom, or, you know, I've got an hour where I don't have something to do. And I look at my wife and go, that's what you look like. And she's like, I remember what you look like too now.
Except for the last 2 years.
Well, no, because I've still studio. I work from
Really?
home. Yeah. I don't leave. Like I don't leave the house very much because I'm literally chained to this desk doing this. I don't mind it, but yeah.
Oh, I thought it was absolutely scary. I got up one morning and I'm downstairs having coffee and I'm like, you're here? Yeah, we have to work from home now. Huh? Oh no. Oh no. Not 7 days a week. I was like, oh no, I can't do this.
Well, that's why you need separate ends of the house to go do things at.
We had to take 2 rooms, turn them into our offices and go, okay, you go your direction, I'm going my direction, I'll see you at dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my wife works nights and I'm working pretty much around the clock. So
yeah, that was a tough thing. I think that's why we had like record divorces during COVID.
Oh yeah, and divorces, breakups, you know, living arrangements just completely, you know, dissolved. You know, it's funny because, like, on the one hand, we as society, and I'm not trying to get political or religious or bring up the nasty virus that we've been dealing with for the last 2 years, but it's funny because we crave human interaction, but we can't stand to be with somebody for more than probably a couple of days.
That's why I like making movies and TV. Honestly, you're there for a week, maybe tops, and you know, you're off to the next thing.
Yep. Make friends, leave.
It is. It's wonderful because it's like, oh yeah, I've seen everybody kind of at their best.
Yeah.
And almost every set I've ever been on, I've walked away with at least one new friend acquaintance.
Well, things are getting better though. I've seen a lot of my friends that are in film or, you know, the industry in general. I mean, they're working more. You know, there's you know, restrictions and stuff that everybody has to adhere to now and whatnot. But at least things seem to be chugging forward.
Yeah, I was out earlier a couple months ago out in Hollywood shooting for NBC, and yeah, shooting has definitely changed.
Well, and it's funny too, because like that show, I watched that show Storage Wars. Like if I'm watching TV, I like the shittiest TV you can find usually. Like there's very little merit or value coming from it. If I want merit and value, I'm going to watch a movie or something like that. But it's weird to see the masks on people in reality shows now. It's
I can't do it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, it's like I see enough of this walking around and seeing people without faces. I've had enough of that. You know, let's see some skin.
Oh,
say that they look at you funny.
I joked that I got 30% hotter as soon as the mask went on.
Yeah, for certain people, you know, it worked out well.
Yeah, I had a lot more winks and flirts than I normally did in public.
Well, I rely on my face expressions to show that I'm, you know, telling jokes and whatever. And it's like, wait a minute, they can't see my face. Oh crap, they're taking me literally.
Well, to touch back on the Kevin Smith thing, is I'm a very much a Silent Bob type where expression I can do a lot through just my eyes. So having my face covered up, I mean, it's mostly covered up anyways because of a beard. So yeah, like I said, I got 30% hotter, and I'm kind of okay with it.
I got uglier.
Yeah, well,
my jokes fell flat. I was like, oh, okay, I'm out of here.
All right, it's time for interview roulette. You ready?
Oh, that. My favorite game.
All right. Soft or crunchy tacos?
Crunchy.
Why crunchy?
Mainly because I have been eating them for 40 plus years, and those are my favorite.
I prefer the soft tacos myself. I always end up seeming to get stabbed.
Yeah, my wife goes for soft too, so
Yeah.
that's not that important.
Yeah. What would you want superpowers from? Nature, magic, or science?
Oh, magic any day.
Any specific realm of magic or just magic in general?
Magic in general. I can think of a lot of different ways to go on that one.
Yeah. What would your superpower or superhero name be?
Well, I have to do better than the last one they gave me. I don't know. Tex Cowboy? I don't know.
I've heard worse.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is the weirdest smell you've ever smelt?
A dead body.
Okay, explain.
Oh, I've had a weird life. I have found dead bodies on different occasions, and it has an odor to it that I just can't put into words. It's really distinctive. You know how like weed has a certain smell to it when it's being smoked?
No, officer, I don't know what you're
a-
talking about.
Right. Right. Okay. But yeah, dead bodies, they have a certain stench to it, but it's a different kind of smell.
Okay.
And it's not like a dead animal. It's something different.
Fair enough. If you could make one of your hobbies into a profession, which would it be? Which hobby would it be?
Racing.
Racing? Well, you did make it into a profession, sort of, right?
I did. I got to race professionally for 5 years.
So then right now, what is a hobby that you have that you haven't done already?
I'm a weird person. Everything I ever wanted to do, I already did it.
Kind of in the same boat.
I kind of didn't let things stop me in life. It was like, okay, you got a problem here, or whatever, back issues. Okay, you're still jumping out of that plane.
Yeah.
Then I went and jumped out of the plane. It was like, it hurts, it hurts.
Yeah, I get that. I'm a very much a make shit happen type person myself.
Yeah. The worst thing you can ever do is get to the end of life and honestly have a bunch of, I wish I'd done this.
Yeah. No regrets.
I got 2 of those in my life.
What are they?
In high school, I was so overwhelmed by a girl, good looks, I couldn't ask her out. I actually was intimidated by her good looks, even though she was a very nice person. I couldn't ask her out. So that was one of my, one of the ones that's like, I wish I could go back and change that. Even if it was a no, that would be fine, but at least I asked the question.
Right. What was the other one? And if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to.
Okay, that one's a little personal.
Okay, that's fair. Like I don't want to put anyone on the spot.
But if you get to the end of life and you have a real short list of what ifs, you did well.
Yeah, I have to agree.
If you're waiting for the perfect time to do something, there is no perfect time to do anything.
If you could secretly look through the email of any person currently alive, whom would it be?
Well, let's see here. I want to play the stocks, so I'm guessing Warren Buffett.
There you go. Yeah. That or anyone big in cryptocurrency.
Yeah, which I thoroughly don't understand. So I better stick to Warren Buffett.
I have a very basic understanding of what it is and how it works. I myself, I think I have like 70 cents in Bitcoin right now. Like just cause.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then are there any funny stories your family tells about you that you can tell us?
Let's see here. Which ones will not get me arrested? Well, no, we can't tell that story. Oh, I shouldn't tell that story. Okay, I got one funny one for you.
Kind of interested in the one you shouldn't tell.
Well, I may tell you that one anyway if you want to hear it. I got one for you that's fairly clean. I was on set, and they had me up the mountains in Colorado, and they put me up this really nice house. But they didn't bother to tell me I'd be staying there with 4 other people. Well, it was fine. Everybody had their own bedroom, own bath. So, it was really nice. But I didn't know these people from Adam. I just met them that one day, but I was like, all right, I'm going to bed. So I walk into the living room and I go, hey, guys, it's been great meeting all of you. I'm going to turn in for the night. Just one little minor thing. I sleepwalk occasionally. Not every night, just every now and again, maybe once a week. If you see me walking through the house, just tap me on the shoulder. I'll wake up and I'll go right back to bed. All right. I'm about halfway down the hallway and I turn around and go, oh, one more thing. I sleep in the nude. Everybody died out laughing. And the next night, we had like 15 people staying, or not in order to stay, but they were actually at our house just to see what I'd do next. And it became the comedy house because it was the funny one.
Everyone trying to get a peek at you sleepwalking nude.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, whatever stupid thing I was going to say next.
No, I understand that one as well because I'm not a comedian. I just happen to be funny at times,
I'm not either. I have the ability just to think of things on my feet.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I am faster and more sharp-witted than your average individual. And the wife hates it because my main bread and butter is puns.
I drive my wife crazy too, but I've rubbed off on her after 15 years, and she does them.
Oh, my wife too. She's not as brutal with it as I am. Like I went on an hour-long run the other day with cheese puns. I know.
Well, you want to talk about embarrassing? I went walk in my neighborhood and light up suspenders, little Christmas lights, dunk, 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 dunk. A Christmas hat, a cocaine snorting Santa t-shirt, and a dog in a light up Christmas tree coat. So there you go. Now you don't feel so silly.
Yeah. I've said that once the beard goes completely gray, because there's still a little red left in it. Once it goes completely gray, I'm going to do 1 year as Santa. So
might as well.
Yeah. I mean, why the hell not?
I'd like to go play Santa. Unfortunately, I'd be kind of like bad Santa, and
you're too skinny to play Santa.
I am now. Yeah. But I used to be 260 pounds. So
I know you were fairly big in Decapitarium, so
yeah, I was pretty heavy. That's why they were like, yeah, might shoot another one. And I was like, you want me to be the same size? And I'm like, no, you can stay skinny. Good.
All right, Travis, is there any projects you've got coming up that you want to tell us about to keep an eye out for?
Well, I've actually decided to go start doing a little stand-up, so you may see me out touring later on in the year.
Okay. Do you come up this way, or do you stay, West Coast, lower South?
Honestly, we haven't decided that yet.
Okay.
Managers haven't decided on what they want to do with me, and they want to see how good I really am on stage.
I would imagine you've got a website, right?
Oh, yeah. I've got one called Lost Dragon Studios. That's my film studio. You can see some of my work, some of the documentaries I've written and directed. Some of my individual commercials I've written and directed. That kind of thing on it.
We'll make sure we link to that with this interview. I want to thank you again for taking the time to hang out with me and tell me some stories. I absolutely loved every minute of it.
Thank you, Odd. It's been a lot of fun.